Amazon stock had a pretty muted reaction. It was slightly up, then it went lower, and now it's pretty much flat. What do you make of that?
Well, I think in the case of Amazon, you don't know necessarily what something like this is going to mean for the overall business. Whereas in the case of Netflix, I think investors have a better idea of how something like this would affect that business. And then you see the stock reaction that we saw in Netflix. This is a huge scoop for Bloomberg Businessweek reporter Brad Stone, who is one of the authorities on Amazon. He's even writing a book on the company. So if anybody's going to know the full story to Amazon, it's Brad. And I think that this is something that Amazon's been toying with for some time. There are these devices, the Apple TV box that already exists on the market, the Roku box. People are watching TV in new ways. What's interesting about it, though, is in the case of Amazon, Amazon looks for all these different ways to keep you using its services. In the past, that was just shopping, and that's why they unveiled that Amazon Prime. You get 2-day shipping throughout the year for $79. But then they started getting into content in a bigger way. They want you to watch movies and TV shows, now doing their own original shows as a way to keep you shopping. They already pushed in a big way to, various versions of hardware with the Kindle devices. Then TV is just another way to potentially keep you using their services. And I think ultimately the big question for Netflix is, if Amazon's putting out a box so that people will watch more of its own content, then ultimately what does that mean for Netflix and in its quest for subscriber domination?
John, as we look at the breakdown of Amazon's revenues, 2/3 of the business is electronics and general merchandise. About 1/3, really, they classify as media overall. This obviously is a major media venture potentially. Any sense for where they ultimately want that revenue breakdown to be at Amazon?
It's a good question. I'd have to check again, but they do see the future in people just spending more through Amazon, whether they're shopping or the services. I mean, the hardware play for Amazon has always been a way to just keep you spending. We talk a lot about how the Kindle devices, these aren't really money makers for Amazon. So you would think, based on the way Jeff Bezos operates, that he wouldn't be creating a set-top box to necessarily make money on it. It would be to indirectly make a lot of money from people using the different content and ultimately shopping through Amazon. I think that one of the questions obviously is how they would potentially position this with the other Kindle devices. In Brad's piece, he sort of says, we don't know what the name of this device will be. Could it be sort of, play off of the Kindle idea? The other thing we should just put in context, Adam, is that remember when Netflix had that big quarter this week and the stock soared on that news, Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, was quick to point out how much content Netflix has that Amazon doesn't have. The fact that the 200 most popular programs viewed through Netflix, of those 200, Amazon only has 74. So clearly they see a point of differentiating themselves from what Amazon's doing, and maybe Amazon with a big trick up its sleeve.